It's about a 5-hour drive from Pittsburgh to the wrong end of the Commonwealth. It'll probably feel like a 10-hour drive back if I end up being completely misguided about all the stuff I'm about to share with you here today. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Steelers. It comes your way bright and early every weekday if you're into hockey and or baseball. I also offer daily shots of Penguins and Pirates. Where you found this. Steelers versus Eagles is a 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff at Lincoln Financial Field. It's the matchup of the weekend in the NFL in my eyes. Steelers at 10-3, Eagles at 11-2, and I'll feel a whole lot better about my job performance if the following expectations I'm about to lay out are both accurate and met. Because what I'd like to see from this game is that of the two fun trends that people are talking about entering into it, one of them, that the Steelers haven't won in Philadelphia since 1965, as if this is relevant, will instead be overtaken by Russell Wilson's own amazing 6-0 record against the Eagles, 4-0 in that very stadium. Now, Russ downplayed this, emphatically actually, yesterday on the South Side, but I want you to hear his general comportment when talking about the matchup, because that tells you who he is on the field as well and why he doesn't get blown away by situations like this.
We have to match their intensity. We have to match, really just bring our best. I think that they're going to, be amped up. They're going to get to play, at home and all that stuff. It'll be a great matchup. It'll be energy. This is a type of matchup that, some of the best in the NFC and some of the best in the AFC. So, I've gotten to play there several times, obviously. It's a place that, it's a tough environment to play. It's a place with great energy. And like I said, we got to bring our best.
Another thing I'd like to see is Russ turn around and hand the ball to 30, not 22. This isn't my usual I'd rather see Jaylen Warren than Najee Harris thing. This is a different one that's specific to the Eagles. I don't have faith that the Steelers will shove through that team. You know why? Nobody does. They have a terrific front, and they have even better linebackers. You're not just going to knock them out by running up the middle. You're going to need to do some Jalen things, and by that I don't just mean, handoffs or, heaven forbid, those dreadful pitch outs. Throw it to him, find him in space, set up screens, do whatever you got to do, but get the ball to 30. I would like to see more usage of, oh no, sit down for it, the tight ends. Yeah, I don't think I've made it through one of these Friday segments without doing this, but come on. Come on. Pat Freiermuth, past 5 games, 19 targets, 18 catches, half of them are for first downs. And they've been in all different forms. They've come downfield. They've come on scramble drills. They've come on just returning to the quarterback. They've even come on the out routes that they practiced with Pat all summer long. Use him. The Eagles, they prefer to have 5 DBs out there all the time. Okay, let's see a DB on Pat, or for that matter, on one of Darnell Washington's legs. I would like to see Landon Roberts play a lot more than Peyton Wilson does, and that's certainly not a slight on Wilson, who I believe is getting stronger and stronger each week, including against the run. It's just that he's not Landon at this stage of his career, and Landon is a little bit goofy when it comes to this stuff. You're facing a running back who's a real candidate for MVP. Meaning of the entire National Football League, in Saquon Barkley. I don't think it would be a bad thing to have Landon not necessarily spy Saquon, but at least be more aware of him than he is of anybody else on the field. And Landon can do that. He'd embrace that assignment. Everyone at the facility right now is talking about how to stop Saquon. Terrell Austin said yesterday it's the number one priority. Well, yeah, it is. That's not to suggest that Jalen Hurts can't do some damage too, but you got to stop Saquon. You got to do that. My feeling is that's going to take you Landon. And finally, what I'd like to see, and boy, is this lame. This is like the lamest what I'd like to see of the entire year, but that's almost by design because it's just full health. It's just seeing this team emerge from this game without anything more than, how does Mike Tomlin like to put it, the bumps and bruises routinely associated with play. Because, and feel free to forgive me in advance for this, I don't think this game matters all that much. And no, I'm not setting it up to be, oh, they're going to lose anyway, so you might as well brace everybody for it or anything like that. No. It's just that if the Steelers beat the Ravens the following week down in Baltimore, they're the AFC North champions. No other game can impact that, meaning there's no set of circumstances in which the Ravens can become AFC North champions if they lose that game to the Steelers. Well, I'm sorry, I'd like to have all guns blazing for that one. And anything good that happens in Philadelphia outcome-wise would just be a welcome surprise as far as I'm concerned. When we come back, J1Q. Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George is a personal injury law firm in Western Pennsylvania that represents injured people in automobile accidents, workers' compensation cases, and medical malpractice claims. The attorneys at Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George pride themselves in doing what they say they're going to do. It's important to them that when they make you a promise, they keep that promise. And this law firm has been keeping promises for over 80 years. Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George has been AV rated. That's the highest rating a law firm can receive for legal ability and ethics. And the lawyers at the firm have been designated super lawyers, that's a real thing, for over 15 years. Rare combination there. Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George has offices in Cranberry, Newcastle, Beaver Falls, Butler, and Elwood City. Learn more about them at lgkg.com or by calling 888-842-5454. Again, that's 888-842-5454. Today's J1Q comes from Kent. It's a little bit off the beaten path here. I like that. Kent says, good morning, DK. I've got a question for you, and it's one that I find very difficult to answer myself. Who is your all-time favorite Steeler? I'm going to give you a different answer than you might get from somebody else, Kent. By the way, you didn't say who yours was, which is kind of cheating here, but maybe it really is that tough for you. Because I could go back to, early childhood and players that I grew to love just from, watching them on TV and marveling at all the Super Bowls and say that it was Mean Joe Green. I could get personal and tell you that I was delivering newspapers back when that was a thing to J.T. Thomas, member of that secondary, and just, wow, I was like, well, I get to see J.T. Thomas every week when I went for collections. I could keep it personal and share that my late mom became good friends with the late and great Dwight White, a member of the famed Steel Curtain. And then you cross over into the professional line of work in which, your fandom just goes poof. That's the only way to do the job. It's like covering a political candidate. You're not writing about what they do and at the same time going around planting yard signs at every intersection. When you do this, what's reflected way more are the professional relationships that develop. But on that note, I've got one guy who checks every box and also happens to be one of the greatest players in franchise history, and in my estimation, the single most electric player in franchise history. Tantalizing to watch. Can't take your eyes off him. You know who I'm talking about here. It's Troy. And to be so blessed, just within the line of work, that especially in his later years, someone of Troy Polamalu's stature trusted me enough to share things with me after games that he knew that if I went and, blabbed them out, he could have gotten into some hot water, but he trusted me. He just wanted me to understand certain things about the dynamic of the team, the culture of the team, what makes the Steelers who they are, what's always made the Steelers who they are. And it was an honor. I don't think I'm using too strong a term there. It was an honor that we'd have these conversations. Additionally, within the context that, he was everything that he was on the field. So I'm taking Troy, and nobody's allowed to tell Ramon Foster. Actually, I think Troy is Ramon's favorite too, so that's all right. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody checking out Daily Shot. I'm heading out to Philly tomorrow. We'll see how long the drive is heading back. We'll be back with another show on Monday.